Okay, so next up, this is this variegated plant right here. That's called Azastasia, and it is actually kind of a salt-tolerant plant. It was sticks when I first planted it, and it's got all its leaves coming in. It's the same plant that I have in the bird box back there. Bird box. And it's pretty hardy. I got them kind of, you know, weak looking, and I planted them and they're doing strong. They have cute flowers on them when they bloom, and I'm looking forward to more. Okay, the bowl back here is thyme, and it's doing pretty good, even though I occasionally water it. I don't water it all the time, but it seems to be really happy in that bowl. So, and it's even spreading out. So, alright, this giant miracle plant right here, right there, is dill, and it came up from a seed that was somehow buried in amongst the mulch. I have no idea where I had this entire area covered with cardboard for months last summer just to kill off the grass, and then I put the mulch down, and then miraculously this dill weed appears out of nowhere. I can't complain. I like dill, my dogs like dill, so I'm letting it grow up. I'm gonna hopefully get some flowers which will produce seed and harvest the seed, because this is the healthiest specimen of dill I have ever grown. None of the other dill plants I have ever grown have ever gotten this big. So I'm really looking forward to the seed. Okay. So the next group of plants are going to be the heucheras that I planted. So this purple one over here, and this green one right down here, and a few others I'll show you. These I planted when I redid this area, and when was that? Maybe December? But they were just, you know, little tiny dilapidated things, hadn't been watered in a long time. They got water from the rains over the summer, but then when the rain shut off, it's not like I followed up with much watering. So I wasn't entirely sure that they would make it, but they're doing great. They have very colorful, beautiful foliage. So these two green ones over here are also heuchera. See, this is like what they look like when I planted them. But it's got two little green leaves, so I can't say that it's dead, just because it's entirely possible it could come back. Some of the others already have. Some of the green ones were pretty close to that style, that near-death experience, and they've already come back fine. So I'm just gonna let them go and see what I get. Alright, and then I planted some petunias. I know I said I'd never have luck with petunias. I just don't have luck with petunias in the summertime. This one is doing fantastic. In the middle there's supposed to be a salvia. There's going to be, you know, salvia sticking out from the middle and petunias all around it, and petunias kind of took over. Alright, now I have some tiered planters, that are these guys right here. This style planter, I really don't like it. I use it because I just refuse to give up. But in all honesty, they don't hold moisture. The process is that you're supposed to have 3 of them piled up on top of each other. I'm sure you've probably seen planters like this before. But you have 3 of them piled up on top of each other, and then you water the top one, and the water moves down to the bottom 2 tiers. That never happened for me. You water the top, and nothing ever makes it down to the bottom. It's fine, I think, with lettuces, because lettuces can handle drought conditions, but outside of that, you know, this that's in it right now is actually Thai basil, and it's coming in really well. They took a pretty hard hit over the winter time, because basil doesn't do so well in winter. They don't like the cold weather. So I honestly didn't think that I was going to get anything back from them come springtime, but they somehow managed to survive the winter and are coming back with big fat leaves, and it's pretty delicious. And they're a little bit stronger, a little bit different flavor than the sweet basil you normally get. Okay, another giant mustard. And then there's, right down there, there's another Thai basil in there that I planted. That one is an eggplant. This is another Thai basil. Got another mustard. Told you I bought 7 of them. I think, let's see, what's this guy? This one is cabbage. So, and then there's another, what's on the other side of this guy? Oh, right. On the other side of the mustard, that is actually arugula. And I've been trimming back the arugula pretty heavy and using it in breakfast. So, it doesn't look like much right now. I probably gotta take back the mustard leaves so it'll get some sunlight. Okay. Here's a near-death heuchera. I think this one died. I don't see, I mean, this is a weed. This is a weed. And these guys are, actually, I'd be curious to see what kind of weeds those are. But, so I think this is a heuchera that didn't make it. That's okay. I got plenty of others. There's another heuchera. This guy right here, who's just barely holding on. Another heuchera that's actually doing pretty good. It's coming back. So I think that one will be fine. Okay, this guy, believe it or not, is actually, he is traveled a long way. He's traveled probably about 5 feet from his parent plant. That is going to be a Arabian jasmine. And, you know, I kind of thought it was supposed to be a shrub. It's turning out to be more like a vine. I don't know what I'm going to do with it if it's a vine. Anyway. The guy in the pot that's going all over the place, this is the Vicks plant. It smells just like Vicks Vapor Rub when you rub the leaf. That's another one of the tiered planters. It's got mustard, it's got the green lettuce, and then behind the green lettuce it's got red lettuce. So the lettuce and the greens do fine in it because they can tolerate the drought conditions that come with these pots, but I really don't think I would put anything else in it outside of lettuce and greens. Okay. Look, 2 more mustard and a broccoli in the center. Okay, so now I'm moving on. There's another azastasia, little stick twigs. I think it would probably do more if I watered it more, but I don't water it, so it's honestly amazing that it survives. That's why I'm calling these things hardy, because I haven't taken care of them. Not like I should, or I don't even know if I should, but anyway, I really don't do anything to them, and they just kind of go. And now that it's springtime, all the leaves are coming out, so they're alive and healthy and fine. Even though they just look like sticks. That's just because of neglect. Okay. So this big bush here is my gardenia. This is a Vietnam gardenia. It's suffering from some nutrient deficiencies. You see the color of it is more yellow-green than a dark green. Once I start back up with fertilizer, regular fertilizer, so I did fertilization in February. I've got to do my March fertilization yet. I haven't done it yet, but I will. I'll probably do it in the next couple of days. And I'll probably put some garden soil around it too to help it out. But yeah, so it just needs some nutrients. It's already covered in buds. See the bud? The flower bud? So there's a bunch of them already on it, so I expect, full bloom here soon. It actually never really stopped blooming. There's always been at least 1 or 2 blooms on it each month. Even into February and January, there were still 2 blooms. Oh, there's one that's open. There we go. See, that one's open. And that's what this is what the Vietnam gardenia looks like. I am super impressed with this gardenia. I thought gardenias are supposed to be difficult, and so far this one's been easy. Fertilize it and water it, and that's it. Alright, peaches! Look! Last I counted, there were about 23 on there. I haven't counted recently, so I'm not sure if they're still all 23. I expect, some of them not to quite make it, but I still hope for 20. 20 peaches. The leaves have come in, and it's looking happy. I water it. It's healthy. I fertilize it, and that's it. It's my peach. Okay. See this little white flower right here? I don't know if it's gonna focus in for you. Let's see. Focus. All right. That little guy right there. Okay, that is Bridal's Wreath Spirea, and it belongs to a bush that was tucked in here. I tucked the bush in here. It was a temporary measure. That became not quite so temporary. So I haven't figured out what I need to take it out and put it someplace where it can have its own space. It needs its own space. It was in a pot. It really didn't like being in a pot, so that's why I put it in the ground. And then I put all these other plants around it, and so now nothing is really happy because it's just overcrowded. So okay, look, sticks of Plumeria. This is the evergreen Plumeria that I have. It is not a, it's the cold hardier of the Plumerias. It has white non-fragrant flowers. It bloomed, all summer last year, and these are the old flower stalks. I could take those off, so I'll have to cut that one. But and the regular Plumerias completely lose their leaves entirely, and then they just look like giant stick trees in the garden after that. But they got a nice shape to them, so I don't really dig them for that, because they do have a nice shape and the flowers are fragrant on the other Plumerias. This one doesn't have fragrant flowers, but it's got an interesting leaf shape, and it holds on to its leaves for longer. This one never fully lost its leaves, but if it was in a colder area, it would have lost all its leaves, and it would just look like little sticks like the others. Okay, the jumbled mess down here is that Arabian jasmine I was talking about. So this is where it starts, and I'll show you. Way over here is where that one branch went. So it traveled quite at least 5 feet just to get from the parent plants, because there's actually 2 plants in there, to where the end of that one vine is. I bought it because I thought it was supposed to be a shrub. Everywhere I looked, it looked like a shrub, and then I get it and it turns out to be more vine-like than shrub-like. So I need to reassess what I'm going to do here, if I'm going to keep it here or not. I don't know. If it's crawling on the ground and it's got lots of little flower buds on it already, and as long as it produces, I bought it specifically for the flowers, because the flowers are super fragrant and they have the best aroma in the world, I think. I really love jasmine, the smell of jasmine. My roses. Okay, so this first one is the yellow rose that is just prolific. It's a small rose. It's a knockout version of the yellow rose, and it's already got flower buds on it. Like, there's one right here. Oops. There's one right here, and then there's another one down here somewhere. Right here. Oops. Right there. And that's not even the first blooms. It bloomed back in January. There was a flower on it, and I didn't see the bloom until it was too late because I wasn't paying any attention over here. I wasn't expecting anything, and all of a sudden I came over and there was, petal leaves or petals all over the place, and I was like, oh my god, it bloomed already. So this has got to be the best rose in the world. Definitely my favorite. The next one up, this is the purple one that I have, and the leaves look so beautiful. Can't believe that. And okay, oh look, a stick. I finally got a stick. Okay, and it's got thorns on it. This is actually like one way, it's way over there. The one with the red leaves, this is my red rose, and I think it's an Abraham Lincoln. I don't remember if that's specifically the variety or not, but it's a red rose. I'm pretty sure it's Abraham Lincoln. And this is it's a weed, but it's not a weed. It's amaranth. Okay, this guy is an amaranth seed that came up. And then this is another yellow. This is the double yellow that blooms quite a bit. I got a bloom here. I got a bloom up here. So it looks like I'm going to get a pretty good showing out of this guy. And then this guy has never bloomed for me. I have no idea what color. So, but he travels all over here. He travels all over the place. It's definitely a vine, a climbing rose, because it sends out such long shoots all the time. But it's never bloomed for me, so I don't know what color it is. I'm guessing yellow, because all the other ones I got were yellow, and I got all of them at the same time. But I don't know. The leaves, you know, look darker than the yellow ones. So I want to say it's a possibility it could be red. I don't know. Alright. This is a pot of Bidens, okay? It's also known as Spanish needle and several other names. Most people consider it a weed. It's actually a butterfly plant, which is why I don't mind it randomly popping up in this pot. When my garden was full of this stuff, I had butterflies all over the place. And they're little white butterflies that like these things, and other butterflies like it, so I'm just leaving it in the pot because it looks cute. You know, it looks nice in the pot, in all honesty. Okay, the next messy area. This is what the cranberry hibiscus looks like after I pruned it back. Because it got all long and leggy, lost its leaves in the cold weather, and oops, I just broke my stick. It lost all its leaves in the cold winter, and then I pruned it back, and I'm going to be taking it out. Technically, there's supposed to be a vine back there, a grapevine, and I could see the grapevine sort of crawling along the netting that I had put there for the grapevine to crawl on. But it's, I don't know, I need to do something with the grapevine. The whole point of putting the grapevine in there was because I wanted grapes. And then the squirrels came along. I'll show you what the grape looks like. The grape is way over here. This small guy right here, that's the grapevine. And what happened is I planted it, and it grew up to about here, way up here. And it had a nice long whippy tail thing. I can't remember what it's called now, but it had a nice long vine to it. And then a squirrel came, chopped it in half, and took the vine with it. And I was like, ah! And it happened, you know, I came out here in the morning, I watered the plants, I came back out just like an hour or two later, and it was gone. You know, it wasn't gone when I first watered the plants, but when I came back, it was gone. I was so mad. And I thought it was dead, but then it came back. And then as soon as it got to the same length, stupid squirrel did it again. Same exact thing. And I was like, so I really didn't think that this grape had a chance in the world. But as long as it has roots, evidently it seems to live. And now it has lots of vines on it. I just have to figure out how I'm going to train them, and then work on doing that. Okay. All right. So the next group of twigs in the garden, these are my mucendas. The first one is like a yellow-orange color, and the second one is that pink one. And if you remember, if you go to the Facebook page and look up blooms from last summer, you'll see what the blooms look like. And they are deciduous shrubs, so they lose all their leaves, and now they're starting to get their leaves back. So, but this is what you have to plan for if you plant these guys in your garden. They're just going to look like sticks in wintertime. Alright, this is another asparagus box, and then the persimmon I need to put in another pot. These blooms, aren't they pretty? These are apple blossoms. This is my apple tree, and I need to put, this is a tropic sweet apple, and I need to put it in another pot. I was supposed to have done that by now, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. It's a Florida apple. Now, I just barely make the cold requirements because apples require a certain amount of cold. Apples and peaches both require a certain amount of cold for them to produce fruit, and I just barely make the minimum for this particular apple. I forget what the minimum is. I think it's 250 chill hours, and I make somewhere close to around there. And chill hours, I think, are number of hours where the temperature is below 45 degrees Fahrenheit, I think is what it is. I'll have to look it up to make certain, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And I just barely made that, and I'm looking forward to having apples. That would be so cool. Okay, this is one of my citrus plants. This is a lemon. I'm pretty sure this is it's not the Myers lemon, it's a Eureka lemon, I think it is, which is the more traditional lemon that you see in the grocery store. And it's got lots of blooms on it, and it's doing healthy. I need to start a neem regimen just to protect my plants. I've already seen a few things that could harm all my fruits, so I'm gonna try. I think maybe Sunday mornings or Saturday mornings I'm gonna make it my neem morning, and I'm gonna fill up my pump sprayer with some neem oil, mixed up neem oil, and I'm gonna spray all my fruit trees because I don't want anything to happen to my fruit trees, and neem oil is really safe, but you do have to use it regularly. So I'm thinking of starting it at least once a week at first, and then adjusting from there just to see how it does. Now this guy already bloomed and is now producing oranges. This is a red navel. Check that out. I'm so excited. I just think growing fruit in your own yard is probably the coolest thing, because then you get to eat it. You know, you spend all this hard work and then you get to benefit with food. Look at that. Red navel right there. And then I have another lemon in the back. It's not blooming as much. I think I water it less because it's all the way in the back, and it's a little bit more difficult to get to because I have stuff in the way. Once I move the crap out of the way, it'll be fine. So, but it's doing good as well. Alright, and there's one last thing I want to show you, but give me a minute to get back there because it's a little tricky. This giant guy all on this side of this building, that is my night blooming jasmine. Remember I had a video with it quite a while back showing you the blooms. It got big. Now it's still getting, the leaves still get eaten, but new leaves are coming out, and I'll show you so you can see this leaf here, right down here, is all kinds of eaten by the caterpillar, the moth caterpillars. And then, but I've got new leaves coming out. It's springtime. Brand spanking new leaves, all nice and shiny. And they actually did bloom not that long ago. And I'm trying to remember when that was. I want to say January it bloomed, because I could smell it. And when I walked by here, of course I didn't have my window open because it was really cold, but I could still smell it. And I'm just really, really pleased with how big it is. The ones I've seen in the neighborhood they were all pretty much where the height of the window is right now. That's about the height that they were growing at, so that's kind of what I was expecting. But it actually got twice that tall. So it's either really happy here or it's starting to get more sunlight. Either or. But the leaves look fine. They look very healthy. And it's nice and upright now. I cut back all the lower branches just so it doesn't take over the space too much. I would rather have them go up. I wonder, you know, it kind of looks, it's not a tree obviously, but it almost has that shape to it the way it's growing. So I'm really pleased with that. So I wanted to show it to you and share with you. You know, it's not, I don't know. I really like it, but this is what it looks like in wintertime. So I figured I would share that. Okay, that is all the time I have for now. I will edit this and get it up on the page as soon as possible. But that's it. So remember, it's always a good day in the garden. I'll see you next time.